Hello everybody, Max here from MaksPlayground, and welcome to Sims 4 collab build with the amazing Simarchy, aka Stephanie, aka my really good friend. So guys, I was talking to Steph and I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had the motivation to build a Victorian house. My motivation is just... There's a story to this, okay? There's a very funny story to why my motivation is not going anywhere lately. But so basically I was talking to Steph and I was like, man, like I wish I could build a really nice Victorian house. And she was like, I can build one for you because I've been waiting so long for these like octagonal, hexagonal, pentagonal roofs to come out, and they're out. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna build so many really cool things, and then I go to build something and it turns into crap. So I love Victorian houses. Like I love looking at pictures of Victorian houses. One of my favorite architectural styles, and she decided to build one. So basically guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this place, and then I'm going to go into some really funny stories. Kind of funny. I think they're funny. Kind of sad. I don't know. Stories. I got stories. So basically guys, I basically did this house where it's a little bit of a contrast, because on the outside, Steph did, and she built it to the outside. It's really pretty. It looks like you would be walking into a pastel palace because she made the house pink. Very signature move by Steph. She loves her pastels, and I love when she does pastel builds. But when I walked in and I looked and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a complete contrast. So like, I picture your grandma living in this house. That may be a little bit biased, yes, I know. But I picture your grandma living in this house. She loves pink, but when you go in, she's like that cozy, old, nice grandma that's been living there for a really long time, or like a really homey, close family that's like likes class, but they also love that really cozy feeling. So basically, I did a lot of warm browns, reds. I stuck to a lot of reds throughout the main floor of the house, and then upstairs, I did like the parents' room, or like grandma's room. I don't know. Grandma really... Okay, so the mother or mom and dad's room or grandma's room is very nice, white and silver, very like, that's where classy comes. And then I did a bedroom for like a teenage girl. And then I left the attic upstairs for you guys to do whatever you want. And I did a really cool little painting studio in one of the turrets. I really like the kitchen for the most part. I did include areas for pets in this house though too, you guys. So if you know, I mostly did it as a cat's house, which you guys will kind of notice. I put a lot of cat furniture around because I really picture grandma having cats, whether it's 1, 2, maybe 4. Crazy cat lady, borderline, be a little bit worried. I don't know. I just picture this house to have a lot of animal, like cats in it. So yeah, I went with that. So guys, this is my story of where my motivation has gone. Okay. So if you guys aren't new here, if you are new, welcome to my channel. I'm Malika, aka Max. Hello, welcome. I love you all. So if you're not new though, you know, or you follow me on Twitter and or social media, you guys know that I have been on strike. I'm a college student and I've been on strike at school for 5 weeks, okay? It ended on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, as of like October 21st, and it's now the 28th. Well, the 22nd or 7th essentially when I'm recording this. But yeah, so I was on strike for 5 weeks, and I had no school. I'm from Ontario in Canada, and our strike made history. Now, I shouldn't say our strike, the teachers' strike made history. In all of Canada, this is the longest a school strike has gone on. Congratulations, Ontario, you are great. So, students weren't in school for 5 weeks, and basically, I didn't even want to look at a textbook after 3 weeks. And I was dreading going back because I was like, oh, like, I don't want to go, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to face my teachers because I'm so, like, just kind of bitter about the whole thing. So basically, I went back. I was like, I'm going to be a big ass bitch, and I'm going to tell those teachers how I feel. I got back there, guys, and, well, I'm in social work, so basically, the first class I had for being back, I had to sit in a circle and talk about my feelings. So that was fun. But I was still kind of mad, and then I got there, and you know, I have such a cool group of students and peers in my, for my block, my group of people that I'm in classes with. They're just really great people. Like, oh my god. And you know, I was like, oh, like, couple people talked and like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better about this, and I'm getting nervous to say, oh, I'm not okay, I'm mad, and then somebody said something, and I was just like, you know what, that is the best freaking outlook to have about this whole thing. You know, you can't change what happened, you can only move forward. Of course I knew that, but anyways, so I you know, I kind of unclenched my frozen little Grinch heart, and I was like, all right, I'm a little bit better than this. So that was the first day back. The second day back, I was like, okay, this is fine. It was my first class early in the morning. I hadn't been awake since at 8:30 in the morning since freaking 5 weeks prior. And I was like, all right, this is when I'm usually going to bed. Might as well make the best of this. So I love that class. That was fine. My teacher was super accommodating. She told us all about what we have to do, how we have to go back after Christmas, all that stuff. That's fine. Whatever. Can't really change it, right? So basically, I got to my Thursday class, and I have the same teacher on Thursdays I have on Wednesdays. And that's when she started telling us about our assignments, and I'm panicking because this is one of the assignments that I am totally lost on. I'm I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm doing this right. You ever had one of those moments, whether you're in college, you were in college, in high school, you're just looking for that reassurance where you're I don't have a freaking clue what is going on in here. Well, basically that was this assignment, and I'm oh, and it's a big assignment. It's worth 30% of our grade, and I'm oh my god, I'm gonna freak. I don't know what I'm doing. And she kind of clears things up for me. I'm all right. She's yeah, well, it's due soon. And I'm oh, okay. So I had to go back, and that's what I've been doing. It is it's 4:30, going on 4:30, and I'm awake doing this voiceover for you guys. I'm not going to class tomorrow because I have homework to do. I have 5 weeks of freaking homework to do. Where's my motivation? You guys want to know what I've been doing for all last week? Because it's essentially Monday, kind of early morning Tuesday. All I did last week was nap and play games. I'm not talking about oh, I had so much recording done. No. I slept. I napped every day I got back from class, and I played video games instead of recording. Yeah, I haven't done a build in actually forever. I haven't done a build since my veterinarian build, which is going on I think it's 5,000 views. I'm oh my god, that's crazy. I'll link that in the below if you guys haven't already watched it. But I'm oh my goodness, I can't even believe that. But, well, so thank you if you watched it. But yeah, so basically, I wasn't at school today. It was Monday. And I hadn't gone to a Monday, school day since, you know, a couple weeks ago. So we got to my ethics class, and my recording and observation class, my teacher was all right, this is what you gotta do. And I'm kind of oh my god, still freaking out because it's the same class I had on Thursday. We have it twice a week. And I'm oh, what am I gonna do? And then I got to ethics. And I flipped. I started panicking. My friend had to literally look at me and be it'll be okay, we'll be fine. And we have to do a group assignment, a group presentation. You have to talk for 30 minutes in front of the class, which I can talk. I'm talking on YouTube, but I'm still really I can't cut and pause and pace, and you know, it's a little bit scary. I get really scared during my live streams because I can't take back what I say if I say them, right? And I don't really have a filter sometimes. So I'm really scared to do this presentation because it's on something it's on an ethical dilemma, which, you know, I can talk about if you guys are curious. It's basically about whether mentally unstable people should be in prison if they commit a crime, whether they should be in prison or a mental health facility. And we have to talk about the dilemma. And we're using specific examples of things that have happened in Canada. And I'm oh my god, this is going to be kind of weird and heated and but I'm nervous. As you guys can tell, I'm rambling and talking really fast. And I'm not even in class right now. So I got home, and my day lasted till 8 o'clock. That's another thing. Mondays are the longest days. They go from 12:30 to 8, and I, like, shoot me, because I really just want to run back to my turtle shell and, like, hide, but, like, I can't. I gotta be there. I gotta be there, be square kind of thing, or fail, that's the other option. So, basically, I got through today. I got home, but I was in the library today. I ran into somebody who is in my program, but, like, I talked to her. She's really, really nice. She's such a nice girl. But, like, we don't really talk, like, a lot. But her husband is at, like, goes to the my school. I pretty much just said it. Goes to where I go to school as well. And I'm sitting in the library just after, like, my 8 o'clock class, going to print something out. And I kind of see him, like, we kind of acknowledge each other, but we don't really say anything, because we've never been formally introduced. I feel that's kind of weird. So she comes into the library to go meet him, and she's like, oh, hey, Malika, like, how's it going? And then she's like, oh, this is my husband, and, like, this is my husband, so-and-so, and, you know, so-and-so, this is Malika. And she's like, she streams on Twitch and YouTube, and she has a YouTube channel, and I'm, like, looking at her, and, like, I've told a couple of people in my program that I have a YouTube channel. It's kind of, like, my little baby, but, like, I don't talk about it excessively, and I think I've ever even told her about it. So I was like, oh my god, like, oh, I kind of just looked at her. I was like, yeah, I do. And she's like, yeah. And then she pulls me aside, and she's like, I've really been wanting to talk to you about this, but I haven't really been able to say it. And I'm like, what do you want to talk to me about? I'm kind of, like, weirded. I'm like, shoot, like, go, like, come on, say it, spit it out. And she's like, I hate The Sims 4. And I'm like, I'm just looking at her, and she's like, I've been playing The Sims since The Sims 1, and I'm like, just staring, like, are you, what? Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? I have a fellow Sims player on my hand, and she's like, yeah, she's like, I don't like, I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm not the hugest fan of The Sims 4 gameplay. Building, you guys already know I have more builds on my channel than Sims 4 gameplay. I love The Sims 3. My heart is with The Sims 3 still. This game, though, the past expansion has literally been changing my heart. Like, I have a change of heart with The Sims 4 gameplay lately because of this new expansion. But before that, I can totally understand why someone would not like The Sims 4 coming from The Sims 3, okay? And if you guys are big Sims 4 players, you remember the change, I'm sure, from if you played The Sims 3, how different it is. So, basically, we had this conversation about The Sims 3, and I'm like, The Sims 4, and we're talking about mods. She mentions mods, and I'm like, you mod your games? Like, I know people who play The Sims who don't use mods at all, and I'm like, oh, you lackluster life, like, but, you know, and then she's, like, talking to me about all the mods that she uses and the custom content, and then she brings up the Sims resource, and I'm like, girl, you know about the Sims resource, that TSR? I was so impressed and happy, and I'm like, I got ecstatic, and she's like, you look so happy right now. I'm like, dude, you have no idea how long I've been waiting to talk to somebody in person, not halfway across the world. Love you all. But, like, I was like, you guys, I was like, you have no idea. Like, some of my really, like, greatest friends I met them through The Sims, and you don't even understand how great it is to meet someone who, like, loves it. Like I do. And she's like, I'm like, do you watch YouTube channels and, like, videos? She's like, yeah, like, and she's, like, naming off these, like, Simmers that I watch. Like, she named the Sim Supply, of course. She named Deli, of course. And then she named some other ones, and I'm like, what? Like, and I'm like, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. So I'm like, yeah, like, and then she talks about how she hasn't really played with mods in her game, and I'm like, I have a surprise for you. So, like, end of the story is, like, her boyfriend's super cool. She was talking about Roller Coaster Tycoon that she used to play, and I'm like, I started playing Roller Coaster Tycoon at Once Upon a Time. I love that game growing up. I loved it. And she's like, we talked about, like, my stories about, like, about how I used to play The Sims, and how I used to I make my bullies because I was bullied, make my bullies, and I, like, burn them alive in the game. Like, we talked about that. It was really funny. It was like a really cool bonding moment. I'm like, I'll have to talk to you about this more often, because, like, you got this, girl. So I don't know. I might post this on my, like, personal Facebook. Maybe she'll see it. So you know who I'm talking. You know who you are if you're watching this. But yeah, no. So I turned 25 this past week, like last Monday. So pretty much a week from now, I've been 25 for a week. I'm a quarter of a century. I feel very old. I had a little bit of, like, a crisis. I'm kind of been going through some, like, personal stuff lately, so I'm just like, oh my god, like, I'm 25, I haven't done this, and I haven't done that. Like, people had to, like, take me down a notch a little bit, just a little bit, and, like, man, so I woke up on my 25th birthday. Now, this is about my cat, so a little bit of relation to this expansion. I don't know, I may talk about this in my Let's Plays. My current Let's Play, Sims 4, cats and dogs, yeah, anyways, I woke up on Monday morning. I noticed my cat was being a little bit weird Sunday night, like, he wasn't really going to the bathroom, and I was wondering, really, I thought, like, he kept going to his litter box, and I kind of checked Monday throughout the night, and I noticed that there was nothing in the litter box. I'm like, okay, I'll check in the morning, I'll see what's up. Still nothing in the morning. I found him every time I woke up throughout the night, I would find my cat at the litter box. And I started freaking out. I'm like, hey, like, I'm gonna call the vet in the morning, I'm just gonna see what's up. First things first, I got up, I called the vet, and they were like, you have to get him in right away. He may have a blocked bladder. Now, that's like, he's like, he may have crystals in his bladder. If he doesn't get to a vet so that he can get those removed, like, he can die within a day. And I'm like, of course, my baby, like, he's like my child, okay, guys? My cat means so much to me. So I was like, what? Like, my god, like, my boyfriend's still sleeping. I'm like, we have to get to the vet right away. And, like, one of the vets, I was, like, calling around to see what prices were, and it's, like, $1,500. Now, I have money, but I don't have $1,500 to drop on, like, the blink of, like, an eye, because that's part of my savings, and, you know, I'm a student. So I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then the vet's like, you don't have time to be shopping around for places to take your cat. Like, you need to get him in now. So I was like, all right, I'm on my way. So I walked in there with $160 for an emergency vet fee. And then I walked in, and then on top of that, $80 for the checkup. And then there was the procedure that they had to have for him. And so we sat there. My poor cat was terrified. Like, he was so scared. And he calmed down afterward, but, like, they had to, like, check him. They had to, like, okay, I'm going to tell you one thing. You see in the game, in the cats and dogs thing, you think, you know, your pets get their temperature checked with their ears? No. It goes in one of their, like, in an unmentionable hole. Yeah, up their bum. It's really sad. It was so uncomfortable. My poor cat was, like, staring at me, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And he was traumatized. He was so traumatized. After that, he was so calm, because he's probably, like, recollecting himself. But, like, so that happened, and then we had to wait a little bit. My cat weighs 6 freaking kilograms. Now, I have no idea how much that is in pounds, but, like, he's big. Holy crap, he's a big cat. So, there was that. You guys haven't seen me post pictures of my cat on Twitter and or Facebook. Go and check that out on Twitter. But basically, my cat is a purebred ragdoll. He is long-haired, big blue eyes. He's super cute, but he is big. He is a stocky cat. And so, yeah, and so the vet ended up coming in, felt out his bladder, like his stomach and bladder a little bit, and he looks at me and he's like asking me, you know, what brought me here, blah blah blah. And he's like, your cat doesn't have like a blocked like crystals. Like, you can give him an x-ray, but I don't think that's what the problem is. I think he just has a bladder infection, which is really common in females, not male cats, but it still happens. So he's like, I'm gonna give you some medication, and your cat has to be on this food for the rest of his life. I'm like, what food? Because I feed him grocery store food, knowing damn well that I shouldn't be feeding him that stuff. Now, if you guys are animal people, you're probably like, well, you're a terrible cat owner. I started crying because I thought, you know, obviously I felt responsible. I felt so bad. I was like, oh man, like, I'm a terrible person. Like, my boyfriend literally had to console me, like, for a while. I was so scared. He's like, you know, we'll get him on this food that'll help him, and here are the medications. So the vet nurse came up with me, and she's like, okay, this is what you gotta do. 3 medication, a pill, and 2 liquid things. And I'm like, my baby is done. Like, Zach's already in the car with him. That's my boyfriend. And I'm like, my baby is not gonna have fun with this. And you guys, trying to get a really uncooperative cat that does not like being held to take medication was awful. It took us 2-3 days for him, like for us to finally develop a method on how to give it to him. And we had to give it to him twice a day, three different kinds, once at night and once in the morning. So we had to wake up, do that. I had to go to class. I'm like freaking out. I want him in class being like, oh my god, I hope my cat's okay, I hope my cat's okay. He ended up starting to go to the bathroom, not at first, but he ended up starting to go to the bathroom. The food helped him, and he's okay now. And today was the last day of his medication, and Monday essentially was the last day of his medication, and I was just like so happy because like I nursed my baby back to health, and he's on good food now, and that food is going to be $60 Canadian, so it's a little bit cheaper in American money, but it's still going to be $60 Canadian for a medium-sized bag of food. A big bag is like $105, and I'm like, okay, anything, he's like my child, right? So like anything for my child, like he gets. So, you know, I've been like helicoptering mom. I felt awful though. Like my friends had to be like, Malika, it's okay. Like you got him. You did good. You didn't let him suffer. And I'm like, all right. Like one of my friends were like telling me about how like I have a friend that her cat died that way. I have my cousin who had a ragdoll as well, whose cat died because of that. Like she fed him bad food and stuff. So it's like, okay, from like this is your food from now on. And he loves it, so right, like that's good. That's good. But basically, that was my birthday, and then I went out to Montana's for dinner and celebrated my 25th. So happy birthday! The whole time I'm like, happy birthday. I'm like singing it to myself. I'm like, yay, yay! But like all my friends are really like supportive of it, and like, you know, my friends were really nice to me. And that weekend, I did spend a really special day with my boyfriend, and he got me this like really cute little like stuffed cat like Beanie Baby thing, and it's so adorable. I was like, oh, and he got me this really cute card, and he was just super like extra special for me. Like he made me, we went out for dinner on the Saturday, and then we went to the Santa Claus Parade, and then we went and then we didn't do dinner on Sunday, but we like just kind of hung out and spent time together. And then on the Monday he took it off work, sort of, he just like called in sick, and then he spent the day with me, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't know, it was a really fun day. Like surprisingly, it wasn't like super exciting and partying and like, oh my god, I'm 25, gotta go to the bar and relive my teen years. Like, funny story, I cried when I turned 20, and I was a little bit teary-eyed when I turned 25. I was like, oh man, like this is depressing. I don't like getting older. I am afraid to get old. I don't want to turn 30. That's gonna be the worst, because it's like, oh my god, you know, like that part in Freaky Friday when they switch bodies and she's looking in the mirror and she's like, I'm old. I love that movie. But like when Jamie Lee Curtis acting like Lindsay, like a teenager, it was funny. That's how I felt. But I am coming up to the end of this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit that sub button and go check out Steph building this. The link for that will be in the description below, guys. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I will be talking to you in my next video. Bye!